Today, we are diving into a truly incredible story. It's a story of faith, of sheer desperation, and of a miracle that, believe it or not, has been flowing for thousands of years. So let's explore the sacred origins of Zamzam water. It's a story that kicks off not with plenty, but with a trial that is almost impossible to imagine. And it asks a really deep question. Where does our human struggle meet God's infinite mercy?
All right, so our story begins in a place you can barely picture, a completely empty, lifeless, uncultivated valley. A place called Makkah, which would one day, of course, become the holy city of Makkah.
So, by a direct command from Allah, the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, brings his wife Hajar and their tiny baby boy Ismail to this desolate land. And what did he leave them with? Just a small skin of water and a few dates. That's it.
I mean, can you just imagine that moment? You're in an empty desert, no people, no water, no life in sight, and she asks this completely logical question. His answer changes everything. It shifts their entire reality from relying on people to relying completely and totally on God.
And her response? It's everything. It wasn't a cry of despair. It was this profound statement of acceptance. This is the perfect example of what we call tawakkul, that complete, unshakable trust in God's plan, no matter how impossible things might look.
Well, as you can imagine, it didn't take long for those meager supplies to completely run out. The water was gone, and her baby, Ismail, started to get incredibly thirsty, tossing and turning in agony. Hajar, seeing her child suffer, was pushed into action by that powerful mix of a mother's love and her deep, abiding faith.
So what does she do? She starts running frantically between two small hills nearby, Safa and Marwa. She runs back and forth, 7 desperate times, climbing each hill, scanning the empty horizon for any sign of help, any sign of life. Her actions are this perfect picture of human effort combined with this relentless hope in God's mercy.
And here's the most amazing part. This act of a mother's desperate search, it isn't just a story we tell. It's immortalized. It's now a fundamental part of the Islamic pilgrimage, the Sa'i. Millions of people, every single year, retrace her exact footsteps.
Okay, so after that 7th grueling, exhausting run, she's standing on the hill of Al-Marwa, and this is it. This is the moment where her trial is about to transform into a miracle for all time.
Out of nowhere, in that complete and utter silence of the desert, she hears a sound. It's the very first sign that her prayers, her trust, and her relentless hard work had been heard.
So she calls out, right, into the emptiness, pleading with this unseen source. And then she looks over towards her son, and she sees something that is going to change the course of history forever.
It's the Angel Jibril, peace be upon him, right there. And at the feet of her baby boy Ismail, he strikes the ground and whoosh, a spring of pure water just erupts from the parched earth. And in her total amazement, so afraid that this precious gift would just disappear into the sand, she starts using her hands to build a little basin around it. And as she's trying to contain this incredible blessing, she cries out, Zamzam, which means stop, stop. And that's how the well got its eternal name, Zamzam. The name itself is this beautiful echo of that moment of sudden, unbelievable abundance.
And then the angel Jibril gives her the ultimate reassurance. He tells her not to be afraid. Her ordeal was over, yes, but more than that, this barren valley was destined for greatness. It was a promise that she and her son were right at the heart of a grand divine plan.
But believe it or not, the story of Zamzam is just getting started. This is no ordinary water. From the very moment it appeared, it's been known to have these unique, divinely given properties that just defy any normal explanation.
You know, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he put it so perfectly. He called it blessed. He said it's both food that nourishes and a healing for sickness. He literally called it the best water on the face of the earth. And this leads to one of the most powerful teachings about Zamzam. This famous hadith tells us that the benefit you get from the water is directly tied to the sincerity of your intention, your niyyah, whether you drink it for healing, for knowledge, or just to quench a thirsty soul. And if you're thinking, wow, food that nourishes, really? Well, check this out. There's this incredible story of the companion Abu Dhar. He gets to Makkah, and for an entire month, 30 days and nights, he has absolutely nothing to eat or drink except for the water of Zamzam. I mean, his account is just mind-blowing. He didn't just survive, he actually thrived. He said he gained weight and felt none of the weakness of hunger. And when he told this to the Prophet, peace be upon him, the Prophet confirmed it. He said,
Verily, it is blessed, it is food that nourishes.
So we've talked about physical nourishment, but Zamzam has a spiritual significance that is on another level entirely. This was the water that was specifically chosen by God to purify the heart of the final prophet, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him.
You see, at these absolutely crucial moments in his life, as a young boy, then again right before he received the very first revelation, and one more time before his incredible night journey to the heavens, the angel Jibril descended, opened his chest, and washed his heart with the water of Zamzam.
So why was this done? Well, it was to physically and spiritually prepare him, to strengthen his heart for the colossal weight of the divine message he was about to receive. This just shows the supreme sanctity of Zamzam, establishing it as a medium for the highest form of spiritual purification.
And you know, all of this whole incredible story, it really brings us full circle. Right back to where we started, with Hajar, alone in that empty valley, and the timeless lesson she taught all of us.
Her legacy is all about this beautiful, powerful balance. On one hand, you have Jahd, pure, sincere, physical effort. She didn't just sit and wait, she ran. But on the other hand, you have Tawakkul, that absolute, unwavering trust that God would not abandon her. She did everything she could, while her heart was completely certain that help was on the way.
And that's really the question her story leaves for every single one of us, isn't it? When we're faced with our own barren valleys, our own impossible situations, how do we find that balance? Her story is the ultimate reminder that divine mercy can create an endless spring in the most hopeless of places, especially when our own efforts are tied to a deep and unshakable faith.